was Colin McRae who set the pace on the opening stage. Colin and the Subaru team were out on this event to carry out vital pre-RAC Rally tests. Trevor Smith was aiming to win the championship on this event in his Cosworth, but his main rival, Japanese driver Hideaki Miyoshi, was going to push him hard. Heading the Group N showroom class in the championship was Steve Hill's Cosworth 4x4, but on the early stages he had to play second fiddle to Dom Buckley Jr., really flying the Mazda 323. A former contender for the title, Johnny Milner, had come to the event with incorrect gear ratios and was struggling in the muddy conditions. But McRae had problems too, a blown turbo on stage 3 costing him a minute and dropping him down the order. Smith was moving up in the Cosworth, whilst a former champion, Ian Robertson, was fastest on this stage in his similar car. Miyoshi had to win the rally to stand any chance of taking the title. Buckley, along with Smith and Robertson, beat the bogey time on this stage. Into the longest stage of the event, Dolby, and Miyoshi was using lightweight magnesium wheels to try and reduce the deficit to Smith. McRae was rocketing up through the order after his turbo had been replaced, and along with new co-driver for the day, Graham Scott, he was 30 seconds faster than Trevor Smith through Dolby. David Mann was holding second place in his Toyota GT4, the best he'd been all year, whilst Johnny Milner was throwing the Peugeot round on their way to a disappointing 13th overall. Martin Harrison broke the gearbox on the entry to this corner in Dolby, going straight on into our camera, thankfully without injury to either party. Brian Bell was speeding up and moved into the top 5. Meanwhile, Martin Harrison and Dave Orrick regained the stage, only to retire with total gearbox failure. And Peter Wells's Rapid Mark III Escort had been over, and they decided to call it a day too. But drama unfolded at service after Smith had been off the road.
Well, there's a square left, totally missed it. Just went straight into the bloody undergrowth. He'd broken something under that front corner. We were stuck in there for 4 minutes. I think we dropped 5 minutes, I think, in there.
Whilst the Subaru team were fettling the Legacy RS, news filtered through that Miyoshi had also been off the stage, all but wrecking his championship hopes. As Miyoshi cruised through Cropton, evidence could be seen of his contact with a log pile. McRae was now back in the lead and experimenting with new Pirelli tyres. Smith took fastest time on Cropton with McRae, and Pete Slights made a return to rallying with the Audi Quattro. The last stage over the tarmac of Oliver's Mount at Scarborough, and McRae was throwing the Subaru around, giving journalist Graham Scott the ride of his life. Miyoshi had now fought his way up to second place in the Mitsubishi, and McRae on his second lap was assisting fellow Scott Buckley up the hill after gearbox trouble struck the Mazda. Steve Hill danced the Cosworth into the hairpin on his way to a strong 4th place and the Group N title. The man of the rally, Smith, made it to 14th place, just sufficient to take the title by 2 points. At the presentation, McRae practiced his champagne technique that he hopes to refine further in the Audi Sport and RAC rallies. The final national championship table shows just how close the positions were in the season-long battle between Miyoshi and this year's national champion, Trevor Smith.